These concerns raise important questions about the balance between reform and stability and whether this move could help or hurt the long term growth of the industry.
Now, question people are going to be asking that's already in all firms is the fact that is it a good move? But some have said that this executive order is one of the boldest fiscal reforms in Nigeria's oil sector in recent years. If successfully implemented with strong oversight, it can strengthen public finances, improve transparency, and enhance revenue sharing among states and local governments, align all revenue governance with constitutional principles. However, with legal backing and careful execution, it could also spark disputes with key agencies, risk investor confidence in the petroleum sector, and expose the reform to a constitutional challenge. In essence, the order's success depends heavily on implementation, legal harmonization, and robust institutional capacity.
So, for oil producing communities here in the Niger Delta, this conversation carries even greater significance. Will this executive order ensure better accountability and fairer distribution of oil revenues? Will it strengthen development outcomes for host communities or create new uncertainties within the system? To help us understand the implications from the perspective of the Niger Delta and its people, we are joined this morning by Maobiye Nangiobo, Secretary General of the Joy Youth Congress Worldwide, a leading voice on resource control, youth advocacy, and the rights of oil-producing communities, all the way from Port Harcourt, River State. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Smith.
Great. So this is a critical conversation about transparency, economic stability, and the future of Nigeria's most important revenue sector. So stay with us as we break it down, because, of course, this is Let's Talk Nigeria. All right, so welcome back. Now, let's get started with the conversation. Before that, let's just give you the background a little bit. According to the Presidential Executive Order, which has been officially gazetted, NNPCL will no longer collect and manage the 30% Frontier Exploration Fund. The NNPC Limited will ensure that the 30% profit from oil and gas from production sharing, profit sharing, and risk service contracts currently earmarked for the Frontier Exploration Fund is henceforth transferred to the Federation account. Now, NNPCL will also no longer be entitled to the 30% management fee on profit oil and profit gas revenues that should go to the Federation account. Now, in the same vein, all operators, contractors of oil and gas assets held under a production sharing contract shall, from the date of the executive order, which is February 13, 2026, pay royalty oil, tax oil, profit gas, and any other interest howsoever described which is due to the government or the Federation directly to the Federation account. One more thing is that the President has also suspended payments of the gas flare penalty into the midstream and downstream gas infrastructure fund. Now, the Commission shall, from the date of the executive order, pay proceeds from all penalties imposed on operators for flaring gas into the Federation account and cease payment of such proceeds into the midstream and downstream gas infrastructure fund. All expenditure from this fund shall be conducted in line with extant public procurement laws, policies, and regulations. So these are some of the things that you've got to know about this executive order. So we now talk to our guy there in River State. Malbi Nango, from your perspective, what problem is the federal government trying to solve with this directive? And could you just help us explain further the executive order, what it means, and how it changes the current system of oil and gas revenue remittance?
Okay, so Ikimoe, thank you for having me this morning. As much as this is one of the very important areas where, as people, we should really pay interest, I would say this for a fact that beyond the fact that I'm Secretary General of the Youth Council, we live in the littoral region and we are in the greenhouse gas zone. By greenhouse gas, I mean all of the emissions of chlorofluorocarbons, that leads to ozone depletion, and all of that happens here in the Niger Delta, but Delta State, in Delta State, in River State, in Akwa Ibom State, and some parts of other states that we have, and so we bear the brunt. Now, what this has just happened is that first, let's look at the legal framework that just happened. The PIA bill or law, which for me is very unfortunate, that happened in the year 2021, sections 52 of the PIA law relates to the what we call midstream, downstream gas infrastructure fund. I talked about this, and I think perhaps the government is listening to a large extent, because I've had to really take my time, spend my money to talk about the issues of the MDGIF and the NMDP. NMDPR means, the midstream downstream gas petroleum regulatory authority.
Yeah.
That's the NMDPR. The MDGIF, the midstream downstream gas infrastructure. Now, long story. The PIA bill first is very faulty that they say, settlor settlee 3%. And now people are irate in killing each other. That you have 3%. The 3% in the question, is it on capex or opex? Because you're giving me 3% on what? 3% of oil production, daily production. What's the BOPD of any gas infrastructure or oil infrastructure within a particular community? Let's look at Atala Field, for example. What's the BOPD? By BOPD, I mean the daily production of oil, of Atala. How many streams or conduits, of the wells are up, are there PB wells and stuff like that. But let's not go into all of that engineering dictum. Now, the point is, you're giving me 3% of what? And there's also a caveat that if anything happens, and that's why our people like the job, that when you speak, it looks like you're going against your brother. And I give God the glory that I don't benefit from all of that, that charade. But the truth is, you're arming our people to be security to we are not benefited on. But that's not of conversation. Now, the PIA that I am starting with, came through an act that was assented to, a bill. It's not a bill, and it's an act today. And the former president assented to that. You don't vary, override, suspend with an executive order. It has to go through the National Assembly. Why gazetting it? So Tinubu does not have the right whatsoever. Whether the intent was good or not good. Now, what this intent is to stop is just to move the stealing from one conduit to another conduit. And I'm going to tell you what it means. Yesterday, it used to go through the NMPC, which is like a middleman thing, and they say frontier funds of 30% or blah, 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 blah. Now, he is now saying pay it into the federation account. Who is the federation account? Who controls the federation account? Who controls the NMPC of yesterday? The person whom the president appoints as GMD is a puppet. Is a that would remit that money, either share it through the back door or put it into some very retroactive laws and come up. It is such a country that we have a crazy leadership. And I will tell you, in 2023, NNPC, who had no business dollar devaluation or naira devaluation, went into doing business that CBN was supposed to do and stole $3 billion. This was one of the issues that I had with the IYC leadership, my own leadership, because we're not ready to fight. And I came up with a research. They stole $3 billion from Afrexim Bank. Please listen. And they said NNPC will have no business with naira devaluation or naira whatsoever. Now play the position or the position of CBN by borrowing $3 billion and payable with crude. Now let me unbundle some Nigerians. NNPC do not have the capacity to produce more than 250,000 barrels of crude per day. And when NNPC went into that very unfortunate business with Afrexim Bank, the crude price was about $71.8 per barrel. So it means that NNPC cannot also go into business with the portion of Shell, now Renaissance, Ajib, or the rest of the other big six of it. Right? You can only go into business with your own portion of crude. They didn't tell you to go into business with that. And the reason they gave was to show up the naira and blah, 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 and blah. This was in 2023. That's how these people stole us dry. Now it's going to take years or months of NNPC not having any money, meaning if Afrexim Bank is supposed to collect back their money in crude, is that when NNPC produces, whatever they produce, Afrexim Bank, they are producing for Afrexim Bank. Just like the story we had that Aso Rock was built and the people said they want in crude. This is what is going on in a banana republic. So first, the president is now saying he's trying to debottleneck, middlemanship or the middleman thing by coming up with this executive order. As good as it sounds, it is still another conduit, moving the stealing from the NNPC back to what they call the Federation account. Who controls it?
Well, Mr. Obo, hold on there. But the president says the move will curb wasteful spending and eliminate duplicative structures. So, do you agree that such waste exists, and will this order solve it?
Kimoye, I totally agree that there's wasteful spending. But who spends this money? The federal government, who takes money from Federation account for 8 billion naira to service what is it called, solar power for Aso Rock. Does that money come from the NNPC? It comes from the Federation account. Who gives the order for that money to be remitted? So when you say you are trying to curb wasteful spending, as they put it there, who is now going to spend the Federation account money? Is it not the Ministry of Finance with the president? It's the same wasteful people who would also, they just move the conduct of stealing from the hands of the NNPC. Maybe Bayo Julari should not now be the one in charge of it anymore. So let us, Ministry of Finance, Cardoso and the rest of us now be the ones to be in charge of it with the CBN. That's what it means. Unlike yesterday, it is in NNPC's account. That is the only difference that just happened. Now, how would this now translate? It is what the federal government gives to the LGAs and the states that they take and they get as what that comes in. From stories and from findings, about 18 trillion naira, is going to, come out from that. And if that is coming out, how much are they now giving to say, okay, River State, this is what you have produced well by well, field by field. Bayelsa State, this is what you have produced well by well, field by field. So the first things first that the federal government ought to have done was to sit with the people of the Niger Delta and sit with us. Let us now discuss about the so-called unfortunate PIA law of 2021 that was hurriedly, passed by some prodigal sons of ours and our people. That for me is one of the most unfortunate things that have happened. And you see those communities, people, chiefs, because they've not seen money, you throw 3 billion, 10 billion to a particular community and people are dancing, prancing, happy, killing each other because monies have come in. This money, from what are they giving you this money? When they say 3%, 3% of what? Are they just extrapolating figures and giving you 3%, from extrapolations or from combination or a permutation or from what? These are things that people should know. So as Niger Deltans, I didn't get involved in the Enjoy Youth Council because I didn't have food to eat. I'm an expert, I'm a professional, and I chose to bring my expertise. And that's why a lot of issues are always there, because even the government of the day, including our Bayelsa State government, is also aiding and abetting this crime. People are scared of speaking the truth. And we are just like a cursed people. Now, let me tell you another thing again that is very coarting, very wetting, very insulting, very repudiating. And I'll say this. Why? Nigeria is signatory to gas flaring laws, brother. What these people are doing, I have been saying this, and that's why I'm saying that it looks like the president is listening. I said it, I've paid monies, I've spent monies making all of these, appearances here and there, and educating and conscientizing Rivers people, Niger Deltans, Ijaw youth, Ijaw people, and every other person who cares to know. Nigeria is signatory to gas flaring laws. And what Nigeria is now doing is that they attack the IOCs or the company. Every company in this Nigeria flares gas. Every company in this Nigeria flares gas. So what they do is that they pay remittance, a particular amount, to the federal government for flaring gas, without recourse to the people who sniff this gas. Let me tell you, these chlorofluorocarbons that, or these hydrocarbons that we sniff, as men, it affects our testosterone. People don't understand this. And we're locals. Go to our Ijaw communities in Delta. I work there in Delta State, and I can tell you what happens within our fields. I work in the Jaw community, and some of the, the what is it called, the Shekiri community. I can tell you that some community, you see somebody's house, there's a wellhead close to it. We have it here in Cotton Channel and in other community here, and they flare this gas, but you don't know that the environment is charged, and you're sniffing gas and endangering your life, and they pay remittance to federal government. Now, Tinubu is saying this, that what they will do tomorrow is that the remittance being paid to them, they will also now push it to the local government. That is why people will begin to kill themselves to become local government chairmen and state governors, because more money comes in. But the people should die. So kill the people, let them sniff gas, but we don't really care, pay us a sum. And that is what I said. And that is what this means. But first of all, as much as the idea may sound very lofty, does the president have the unilateral powers constitutionally to override something that another president has just done through an executive order without it going back to the National Assembly for amendments? And for anything that should be amended, it is the PIA we should be looking at to be amending as a people. And that is where I think even the INC and the IYC, we haven't really done well on that. Because we should be involved in the oil governance. And I don't see a need why we always want to pick up visits here and there and show ourselves, and we're not helping the people. It's a shame. It's indeed a shame.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm a Secretary General to the Joint Council in an unfortunate government that is without leadership. A people that we've never had it this bad before. So it's such a shame. I am so ashamed of the Joint Youth Council that we have, but I'm part of the leaders. So what do? I'm also part of the failures. But the truth is that we must be true to power.
Okay.
What we want is not a thing, and the president does not have any right whatsoever to assent, to vary, to suspend another president's order. I mean,
at this point, okay. At this point, I was going to be asking you, because you said you're talking about it. I wanted to ask, and I think you've answered it partially. If the executive order was the right tool to effect such a fiscal reform, or should it have gone through legislation? And but okay, that means it should have gone through the legislative pattern, right?
Let me just tell you something. A bill passed by the National Assembly and assented to by the president can only be amended by a subsequent act of parliament. That's it. That's what it is.
But with the executive order, it is like signed, sealed, delivered.
Law. You cannot do that.
Okay. Now, the next question I want to ask, you talked about it briefly, but I just want you to hit more on it. What was the main issue? What was the main issue with the previous oil and gas revenue remittance system under the PIA? What was the main issue?
Okay, so it was a gang, a gang of a meretricious gang, a gang of oil thieves who decided to say this is just like the Land Use Act.
Yeah,
this is same thing. So it has a lot of bottlenecks, and nobody knows. The NNPC takes and holds that to its chest. Only the NNPC can tell you how much comes in terms of frontier funds, the PSC, and whatever, and all of that, right? Okay. So the point is, that money is only shared within the NNPC, the president, and that's why anybody who becomes GMD is not because the person is a smart person, is like, one of the eggheads we have in the NNPC, or the person is an expert, or that he or she has done well, but it is because any president looks for somebody that he can use as a puppet to appoint the person who can, answer to him. And that's why you see most NNPC GMDs do not have respect for any minister for state petroleum. Just like the current one, we also not have respect for our dear brother, Dr. Henrik Ndobogbe. We wouldn't have respect for him because he is supposed to supervise the NNPC by his position as Minister for State Petroleum. We must speak truth to power, brother. So what was wrong with it? Everything is wrong with the former one, and it is wrong. If there's no word, I don't know. It is worse now because the president is now moving this whole thing directly to the presidency instead of allowing it in the hands of NNPC, where it can trickle down to the GMD and to any other person who knows, maybe the executive director accounts will also steal his own, the GMD will take his own and remit the rest to the powers that be. Now, the president is moving it directly to the presidency, where he now decides what goes to any state without a revenue mobilization and fiscal commission sharing formula of it. And on what are they sharing these things? See, we're not fools. Giving more monies to people and sharing more monies to local government is fine, so that the local governments can have a breather. But the point is, on what are you giving me this free money? And what is my true percent? I have 15 oil blocks within my domain, and each of them produce 10,000 barrels of crude per day. And at the end of 2 years or 3 years, they come to give host communities 200 million, 300 million, and because people are poor, they don't even know on what these monies are coming. Is it on capex or opex? I keep saying this thing, and sometimes some people say, "Oh, you know too much." It's not about knowing too much. It's about speaking truth, so that when we leave this planet Earth, we will also be accountable to the things we have done on Earth. Why are we leading a pressure group like Ijaw Youth Council, and we're not using it to speak truth to power, to say the right things, other than going to pay costly visits to people who are taking us backwards and take all the chances? I am so angered. I don't want to get too involved. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, but then the Pakistan president, Festus Osifo, warned that this executive order could undermine the Petroleum Industry Act, the PIA, and weaken investor confidence. How valid are these concerns?
If we were listening to ourselves, I said it first. And when you ask the question, I started going around the PIA, because everything you have to do, the Petroleum Industry Act manages everything here, and there are laws inside of the Petroleum Industry Act. You don't come up with an executive order to stop an existing stealing spree through an executive order. Must go through. We also have a rubber stamp National Assembly, but at least that show of shame should have also been given. Let me give you another instance, something that is happening in this country. This might just be an aside, but it's very important for this conversation. The NDDC Act has been amended, and it was done in less than 2 minutes. This happened on representing Tinubu's interest as the third executive director. Sunday Ogunbade or something. This is a man who also have a very good history, and I'll tell you the history. He was a Federal House of Representatives member, under the party called the Labour Party, and later now switched to APC. And they took him to court, and he lost his seat. Now Tinubu compensated him with NDDC, and they created an act. And the NDDC Act was just a without people knowing. There was no House Committee for the National Assembly, and that happened. So why not do same, for example, so that we go through the right channel, so that the National Assembly is part of this, because they have the right to also rewrite these laws. They came up with these laws, and the former president late now has to it. You don't override another president, order by an executive order. Executive order is just like toilet conversation. But your president, you have the right for executive order. Yes, but that executive order, something that was debated at the floor of the National Assembly, people will call representative democracy. It is Nigerians sat, and in their representation as senators and House of Representatives, people spoke on their behalf and said, this thing is supposed to be like this. This didn't happen. Tinubu just did that means which they raise more money for the 2027 election. So they did that and moved the money to the federation account instead of going through by July. This is what is just going on. It's not in the interest of Nigerians. It's just in the interest of them. I am not saying it would have remained the way it is. The way it was faulty. But if you're going to do right, do it right. Go through the right channels. And this was not what was happening, or this was not done at all in this. Okay. I'm getting very exasperated. This is something I also daily to myself.
I understand.
And that people should not fools. We should wake up. The INC should wake up. The IYC should wake up. Everybody should read this. Not be to pay costly visits here and there and getting money from people.
At least this one, you are paying a court visit to our station right now, and that's a good one. And so you're talking this morning. So don't worry, it's fine. But it's fine. It's because we're all here to get to educate ourselves and get informed. But I understand. If I hear you clearly, because in some quarters, people like the Pengan boss and some other person are looking at, they're already having the issue of accountability. We've had issues with NNPC all over the years. At a particular time where within a 5-year term, that's when was the time of former President Muhammadu Buhari, There was missing funds, 210 trillion naira. That we cannot even hear. Every time you hear NNPC, it's striking a lot of mismanagement, misappropriation of funds and all the things. And now we are having to direct all of these things directly to FARC. And now the allocation will be given. When there is an issue of mismanagement of funds, is it still better? Do you now say carry these same funds to a place where they're now nobody? It's as though some Nigerians are feeling that they are hoodwinking us, that more money is coming. Good. But to what percent is it coming? The accuracy. Do you think the president would have done it? Transparency. No, hold on. Is transparency on trial? Is accountability on trial? Is fairness on trial concerning this executive order? That's what I want to find out from you.
Okay, so first of all, let me come back here again. Do you think, are you trying to infer by this that Ministry of Finance is an accountable entity? It's not. They are not. The highest place you find the highest level of financial misappropriation, impropriety, the Ministry of Finance. They aid and abet stealing of every government that comes into power. Minister of Finance will be somebody the president goes there to himself. So are you now inferring that until he moves to FARC, that is when transparency will be transparent with Nigerians? No. So what has just happened? Changing the conduit, changing the stealing container. You're saying that from NNPC there's a lot of mismanagement, middleman. Now we're not allowing NNPC to have that sole powers. What it has done doesn't give so much financial powers to the DMD. Yes, I agree to that because he's not going to see that there. So now you're saying that move Federation Act. Nigerians is controlled by the NNPC, by the CBN and the president, the Minister of Finance, CBN and the president. And who does all of these things is still same president. They are not moving to the president because these entities are presidential entities. They are not entities that can operate on its own. They operate with the directive of the president. Also the NNPC. So they are shifting the goalpost. They don't answer the question. That's the point. So it is just deceiving Nigerians. This is the seat of the highest.
Okay.
And that is why Pengasa was very, very smart to saying, no, the real issue is in the. For this to happen, we should. Then we'll now decide either create a special intervention fund. If you remember, the PIA gave rise to MPGIF and NMDPRO, Nigerian Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Section 52 of the PIA Act gave rise to that for them to be the regulatory agency that takes care of the midstream downstream funds, including the PSC and the rest of them. If you must override that, you can only override it with another bill and act again. You don't just do it through executive order. It's not a banana report. This is the point, and that's why.
Okay, Mr. Wo,
right. It's not going to go well with them.
Great submission. Before we open the phone lines, all right, I'd like you to respond to this. Since this is this situation, the executive order has been given. Do you think Nigerians should be, out there asking the president to withdraw this executive order since it has not passed through the right channel, through the National Assembly? It seems that Nigerians are not well educated on this matter, so everyone is kind of quiet while this thing is going on. So what do you expect Nigerians to be doing right now?
So the point is that what I expect Nigerians to be doing is not to take the streets, but let's look at what Nigerians are in the streets trying to stop the madness of the Electoral Act. President did not even listen. He never passed that way. He went ahead and signed off the unfortunate, Electoral Act. He signed the bill because the doesn't have that this is the only way they can read. And in case what just happened in the Abuja elections and also in the Rivers Run elections of just 2 days ago. So what do you expect? We've been in the streets. We've been talking. Decided to maim you, to assassinate you, to go after you, to come up here and there, because this is a government that is averse to they can't stand anybody opposing them. And anybody who has a chira should not be allowed to press that. So what can Nigerians do? We can also take to the streets again. But expect all Nigerians may not be able to or may not want to take to the streets on this because it does not benefit all. Say it benefits you and I that are the Niger Delta that are oil producers. Now that is why I keep on calling on the agencies or the people. I am now there speaking, but I'm like a lone voice even in the joint council. Other youth groups that benefits from this to stop paying unnecessary costly people. Look at the issues that affect the people, Niger Deltans, and begin to speak because it still benefits us more. We have PIA to be of 3%. It is repugnant, is unacceptable. But the 3% is on what? 3% is it on the capital? OPEX or CAPEX? You have that figures. So people just trump up figures to say, waiting do you today now? 1 billion. So take 1 billion. And the 1 billion naira comes to a community and people are beginning to kill each other. We have 1 billion in our board. They form cluster boards here and there and all that. It is just to deceive the people, deceive them. So that's what I'm saying. What can we do? The people need to speak up. And that's one of the things I am doing. Thank you for this opportunity. And that's what everybody should be seen to do.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. But stay on the line, all right? Don't go anywhere. You'll get to hear the reactions of Nigerians as we open the phone lines right now. 0707 747 1522 and 0912 000 1975. You can send a message to the WhatsApp line 0912 000 1975. Also, we are live on Facebook right now. So you can go on Facebook. We're live streaming, right? And so go on Facebook and drop your message the comment section. We will read your message, of course, to the hearing of Nigerians. We're listening to all over the globe right now. So if you're outside Yenagoa and any part of the world, you can also use the Radio Garden app and listen to this program. Now let's get to the phone calls. Hello, good morning, and welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Chico, they call from Obele.
Welcome.
First of all, thank you, your guest, for speaking the truth and analyzing it to common man to understand what is going on here. But Nigeria government have turned out to that level, to that extent. We don't believe in government again. Because they are not ready to do the right thing in every given time. They're still playing politics to favor themselves. They don't do us to that extent. You can't believe them. Even when they say A, we don't know whether that A is A again. So that's the way we find ourselves. That is the kind of country we find ourselves, that we cannot believe on the government again. Thank you, my brother.
Oh, thank you very much, Chikobi, for your contribution. And thanks for keeping it very brief. 0707 747 1522. Hello, good morning.
Hello, now good morning.
Good morning to you.
Please, this is Ogatama from Agudama.
Ogatama, go ahead, please.
I want to greet the guest because he has speak the truth. And recently, what I admire about him, he always speak the truth, because recently I was hearing when they were interviewing in the Super FM in Port Harcourt recently, early part of this year. So he always speak the truth. But I want to ask, this 30% that the NNPC is controlling before, which means if we have that is 100% in all years say, NNPC will keep 30%, right? And that 30% is for research of crude. I want to ask, the private companies that normally comes to search for crude, are they using their money, or is the NNPC using the 30% to search for crude? Good morning.
Good morning. I think I want Maobi Nangobo to respond to this quickly before we take the other calls. This caller's question is very important. Could you help out with the answer?
Okay, so if I can help, it's very simple. That's what they call frontier funds, and federal government, they call it royalties that will be paid. So, like CSR, a lot of other things that they can mop up under the frontier funds and whatsoever during exploration or whatsoever. Let me tell you what the NNPC usually does. They went to far back as Maiduguri, Gombe State, and others far north. I'm not saying they may not have oil there. This is not because I have oil in my backyard. then any other person shouldn't have oil. So they use these frontier funds to just yo-yo around, to spend our monies, doing seismic studies, because so that they can justify the spending of that funds. So that's why it is also good that this thing goes out from the hands of the NNPC. Because NNPC can come up by telling you that when this money is, they've used it to, do oil exploration or seismic studies around Gombe and around Yola, around Maiduguri, Lake Chad, around places where ordinarily you would think that you shouldn't even have oil up to a bottle, let alone get into commercial quantity. So this is what it is. So it is just mere corruption, but corruption has a good name. So they've coined a very superb name for it, to steal our money and to suckle us dry. But it didn't start from Tinubu's administration. We must give him that credit. It's something that he has come to benefit from, but he has now taken the corruption to the next level by saying, no, he should come to his office directly. Let this money be with him. So he now decides who he gives to. So he may decide that if I'm governor of Rivers State tomorrow and I'm not doing things with him, he may choose not to send that percentage to me, what is due Rivers people, because he thinks he will be empowering me with so much money. That's what it means. So there's no right answer to it, but the 30% is just stealing spree or stealing mechanism, devised by the federal government of yesterday. And they call it frontier funds. It's nothing but it's just stealing, corruption.
All right, let's go back to the calls. But before then, I'll take a message on WhatsApp. This one is coming from Fred Ikiridi. That's right, from Pasha. Does an executive order take preeminence over an act of parliament? That is the PIA. If the executive order directs NNPCL to remain the 30% management fee, and then 30% exploration funds to FARC directly in the PSC. What about other arrangements like joint ventures? Thanks to Golding FM for bringing this topic to the fore. We appreciate you for also dropping your message as well. Let's return to the calls. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Moye and Paul Bassa.
Good morning to you.
Yes, and the guest, Bangu calling from Tunga Masuma Road. I want to thank the guest because speaking the truth, we need this kind of people in this Niger Delta that we can stand gallantly and speak the truth. The question that I want to ask, what happened that up till now, Ajib, Shell, those people that is exploiting our oil, their headquarters cannot come to the Niger Delta. I think that even the past president, not to Simbajo or others, that they should come down to Niger Delta. Where they are taking this oil from? Look on and see what is the actual environment now. This oil company will just come dig all our environment, do all kinds of things. And this NNPC will be not from here that they collect the money. It's from here. Let them come to this Nigeria. If Shell is operating in Bayelsa, let Shell headquarters should be in Bayelsa. If Ajib is operating in Bayelsa, they are collecting their oil from Bayelsa. Let their headquarters should be in Bayelsa. What is happening? That is why I just want to ask, can President sign executive order concerning that? That's what I want to ask the guests. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Asking the question whether the executive order could also, the president could give an executive order asking all the companies to relocate the headquarters to the Niger Delta. That would be nice, though.
The conversation came up last week.
It did, actually. But let's get to this call. Hello, good morning and welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is James So from Pantia.
All right, James, so welcome.
Yes, I greet you this morning and your guest.
Thank you. Hello, James. So, hello. Again, network issues now, James. So you could probably call back if you can't hear us anymore. Let's get back to the calls. Let's get this other one now. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost that now. Okay. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dr. Moye. I'm Paul Bassa.
Good morning.
I greet our guest.
Good morning.
Good morning. I still remain sharp, reporting from Erapa Constituency 1. Well, I guess you have spoken well. I don't know you're hearing me. You have spoken well. You speak like those people that really want to liberate the Niger Delta. But come to think of the topic at hand. You see, this is just a repackaging of the same format. Nothing come out. The AG is saying that they want to curtail spending But you can see the excessive spending here and there, 110 billion missing here and there. The writing off of debt. I don't know if those things not excessive spending, and now you want to accumulate this one to yourself again. But brother, people are watching. It's not done that way. I think they should have a rethink of it, even if it is for the good of the country. But last, it will come the way they are saying it. And then for our guests, from the way you speak passionately and you speak like somebody that really wants to cause a change. But finding yourself in that body, I don't think you can make that change that you are yearning for. You have to come out if you want to really fight for the people. Since you are saying the rest of you guys, they are going out collecting money here and there. If you really want to cause a change, please, you have to come out, step out, and cause the change that you are yearning for. Thank you. Good morning.
Well, thank you, Sir Sapere, for your contribution this morning. And you need to understand that the conversation is about the executive order. So when you're responding, just try to go straight to the point. I'm not talking to Sapere, actually. I'm talking about the rest of us who want to calling and perhaps who listened to our guests all the way from River State. Please go straight to the point. Talk about what you think about the executive order for the guests, and then we give other people the opportunity. Is that okay? That's all right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Murphy, calling from Missouri.
Murphy, welcome.
Yeah, I've come to conclude that nothing good can come out from this our so-called government, because what we do is just for themselves. Everything they think is for themselves.
I want you to be very careful about the word so-called. All right, so you don't need to use that. That's not appropriate. All right. Are you there with me? Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. We just have to say our opinions, respectfully and all of that. So it's inappropriate for you to say our so-called government. That's not acceptable. All right. But thank you very much for your thoughts this morning.
Yeah, in midst of everything, there are ways at which you could just
of course.
So we just say address the matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's address the matter and see how we can benefit from it, because we're Niger Delta, we are the oil producing state. It concerns us directly or indirectly. How do we benefit from it? So you can ask questions around that so that the guests can speak to your cause. We'll get better.
Hello, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
I lost that again. So I just keep trying. 0707 747. The lines are jamming. A lot of people on the queue want to speak. Well, let's see how it goes. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, again. Terrible moment. I don't know what's going on now. Oh, well, let's return to our guest in Port Harcourt. Before that, let's take this on the one. Let's try it. Okay, we'll go. This will go through. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. Your name, location, please.
Well, my name is Amon. Grievance concerning this matter. So there's no need for interruption. It is that people are saying all this. So in fact, there's no need to have another defending language. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right.
I really wish we had you be
yes,
because I think your radio was on. So we're getting that
the whole back.
Please, while you call, as much as you wanted us to hear you, just switch off your radio. Then we can hear you give your contribution. But it's okay. It's fine.
All right. So let's take it on the call. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, my good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are Collins from Obelon.
Okay, Collins. Please go ahead.
We are talking about how our people will benefit through the natural resources that God gave to us. And we will not stop to mention this issue about how all the companies that are operating Niger Delta, and they go and put their headquarters in Lagos and Abuja. And tomorrow will come up to say that Lagos, their revenue, billion. Yes, they will have it. Because why? Babu the chop. Yes. You there hear they tell you. And when you tell you say, insecurity. You are here doing your business. And you don't want the people here to benefit. I'm on that. I'll be saying it too. May they carry those headquarters come here. If they carry this go Amasoma, definitely the youth there, even though you not go to school, then you employ you for security. And from there, your family will be sustaining. Is it not good for us? You see, I want to say something. Please, permit me. No verse. So, if you don't lick your mouth, Hamatan go lick up for you. We have so many ministers, petroleum, that waiting them to talk about this thing. We have people that represent us, senators, House President, waiting they do about it. Doesn't mean that they cannot echo their own voice. Make talk, even though you know what, you don't be say don't talk. After they talk my mind here, and I need to talk and say, make you with that my word, though. But I have viewed my point, I have viewed my word. Make them just agitate for it, my brother. I'm not from here, but if you hear better, it go reach me. The truth of it. Anywhere where you there, as Iboma, we believe anywhere we there is our home. We make the place to be good. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. All right, so let's return to Malbi Nangiobi, the Secretary General of the IYC Worldwide. The executive order is anchored on Section 44, Subsection 3 of the Constitution, which vests ownership, control, and derivative rights in all minerals, mineral oils, and natural gas in, under, and upon any land in Nigeria, including its territorial waters and exclusive economic zone in the government of the Federation. That is what it is anchored on, and that's why it had to go ahead. The president had to go ahead to give the order. Do you think this section actually vindicates or relieves the federal government from passing through the National Assembly?
Okay, so constitutionally, you cannot override, vary, suspend any bill and act assented to by another president through fiat. Executive order is similar to fiat. It's just like, riot acts being read. Where constitutional people will say we run well for democracy. The National Assembly painstakingly, either they were induced or whatsoever, but let's, give them the honor by saying painstakingly in 2020 or 2019, 2020, and in 2021, chose to now come up with what they call the PIA, the petroleum, So, and they sent it to the president, and the president assented to it. And it is now operational, gazetted. Another president do not have the right whatsoever to come and take it out. That only can be done again through the same process, either amendment or whatsoever. This didn't happen. Nobody is saying the president does not have a right to conjure or commandeer or come up with any ideas of executive order or whatsoever. He can choose to now say, oh, this is, except we're now operating, we are back to the heydays of tyranny. And if he agrees that he's a tyrant, then we can now say this can.
So civil society organizations, right? Should civil society organizations take the federal government to court for breaching the Constitution?
Of course, we will. I'm part of a lot of civil society groups, and we're meeting already currently as we speak. So that will be part of it. But shamelessly, I will say this: what are the governors of the 9 Niger Delta states? What are they doing? What are they saying? They've all now gone to what they call mandate, their mandate or someone's mandate, and they are now part of the gang of so-called renewed hope. So because of that, they are now renewed. They are having their hopes renewed. They cannot speak. This is something that affects them and their people. So we have 9 state governors that are doing nothing, that are docile. Rivers State Governor, Akwa Ibom State Governor, Delta State Governor, Edo State Governor, Ondo State Governor, Abia State Governor, Cross River State Governor, Imo State Governor, and Bayelsa State Governor. They are doing nothing. Now, we have about 13 House of Representatives members from Rivers State saying nothing. We have 10 House of Representatives members in Akwa Ibom State, they are saying nothing. We have 10 House of Representatives members in Delta State, they are saying nothing. We have 9 House of Representative members in Ondo State, they are saying nothing. In Edo State, 9 too, they are saying nothing. 8 in Abia State, House of Reps, they are saying nothing. Another 8 from Cross River State saying nothing. Then we have 10 in Imo State House of Reps members saying nothing, and unfortunately we have 5 in our dear Bayelsa State saying nothing. We have 333 senators making up about 27 senators in these 9 states of the Niger Delta, who will be the primary beneficiary because it is from your land, supposed that these things are being, are coming out from, saying nothing. So, I'm trying to choose my words because we're on radio. True. And we need to, be civil.
And thank you for doing that.
It's unfortunate that we have unfortunate governors in the Niger Delta, including our dear Bayelsa State. Including our dear. You may not like.
You say you will actually for using the word unfortunate after promising us, huh?
You don't.
After promising us, yeah. You might want to retrieve that word unfortunate. You might want to retrieve that word unfortunate.
What are they doing? It's something that affects the people, and nobody is saying anything.
Would you like?
Governors are there going to have renewed hope. Renewed hope on what?
Would you want to? Okay. Would you want to? Okay, Secretary General, would you want to retrieve that word unfortunate? That'll be fine for us to continue the conversation.
Okay, I retract it because
thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Well, unfortunate to me, but it's fine.
Okay, it's all right.
We shouldn't be scared of taking power.
All right.
Why are we people? Why are we humans?
Okay, so that's it on the show this morning. You've really spoken. A lot of the callers and many other calls are coming in, but we can't take the calls because of time. But we appreciate you, Mr. Mauye Nangiobo, Secretary General of the Joy Youth Congress Worldwide, for coming on the show today and for airing your view on this issue that we're looking at, the executive orders by the president. We appreciate you. We look forward to having you some other time on the show on Let's Talk Nigeria. Thank you once again.
Thank you. God bless you.
Amen.
All right, so that's it on the show this morning. It's been quite interesting, quite heated as well at some point. But we appreciate all the callers and everyone who listened to the show this morning. We are the Ghost Town on the radio. We try as much as possible to do our best to bring you educative, informative conversations and topics for us to deliberate upon. And also remember, the opinions of the guests are theirs and not that of Golding 97.5 FM. You already know that. But I appreciate you. Tomorrow we're back here for another very interesting topic. I am Moya Stiving.
And I am Paul Oblamugbasa.
We say have a lovely day.